Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
I did ask the Postal Service if they were going to start paying the late fees. They said no.
More mail troubles for people in our area, and if it's happening to you, there's a way to get it fixed. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Last winter, we reported on several incidents of mail mix-up in South Fargo. From that, carrier contracts were terminated, and the problem seemed to be fixed. But as Valley News Team's Cornelius Hawker shows us, the problem seems to have resurfaced in another part of Fargo. He shares one lady's story and also what you can do if it's happening to you.
I had a girlfriend in Alaska. She sent us all a postcard. Everybody else has gotten their postcard 3 weeks ago. I have not received mine.
This is typical for Dorothy Hancock.
I've had checks not come. They've had to stop payment and resend. Bills that are late, and then they want to charge you a late fee because of the Postal Service.
Dorothy checks her mail, never knowing what she may or may not find. She called our whistleblower hotline after a neighbor brought over open mail that contained her Social Security information.
Maybe the man himself wouldn't do anything, but what if he has somebody over that isn't really, and maybe he wrote down some of this, or I don't know.
It's unexcusable. I mean, our team every day, I tell them every day, I mean, they know, hey, guess what? We'll never be perfect, but if we give a perfect effort, I mean, we're going to get out there and take care of our customers.
Douglas Stevens took Dorothy's information and says he's going to personally look into her case and hopefully get it resolved. But what if you're getting all your mail along with someone else's? That's what's been happening to me for the last several months, and here's what Stevens had to say about that.
Almost sounds like someone used your address that shouldn't have, so I'll give you my email address so you can send that to me, and I'll have the team here look at it so we can get it fixed for you.
I just want my own mail. Like I said, I want my own mail. I don't want other people's mail, and I don't want other people getting my mail.
Cornelius Hawker, Valley News Live.
If you're having any mail problems, go to valleynewslive.com and click on this story to find out how you can report those problems. And if you need help uncovering fraud and corruption in your community, call our whistleblower hotline at 237-6576 and leave your tip. A member of our investigative team will get on the case and go to work to expose the truth. A little cooler today and windy, so how's it looking tonight for all those outdoor activities? Let's head over to Hutch Johnson in the Weather Center for a look at the forecast. Hutch?
Well, certainly all areas here in the valley are much cooler than our Sunday weather, but we can see where the cool air is making its way into the region. It's from the north and west where we have temperatures in the 50s. Much warmer in southeast Minnesota. It's 80 in Rochester. Here is a look at what we have on the radar. Just a few blips, nothing to be too concerned about, although you may get a drop or two on your windshield in Ellendale and Oaks. Fargo-Moorhead stays in the 60s with north winds generally becoming a little less gusty once we get beyond sunset. Expect it to be cloudy. Can't rule out sprinkles, but they'll be few and far between. I do want to let you know that frost is not unusual this time of the year. Average frost date is right about now for places like Grand Forks and Fargo, and we'll talk more about frost in the main forecast here in just a few minutes.
Do we have to?
Hint, hint, wink, wink.
No, please.
Doesn't that soften the blow a little?
No,
Okay.
not much.
All right, we'll have details.
Okay, thanks,
You
Hutch.
bet.
It appears Grand Forks is moving forward with a multi-million-dollar project to solve the problem of homelessness. The goal of the Housing First project is to get people back on their feet as working members of society. The city is working with developers to build a 42-unit apartment building for the chronically homeless next to the police department. It would include on-site services to help people deal with drug abuse, mental illness, and other problems.
Well, it's a Housing First project, which is kind of the concept that if people are homeless, you give them housing first, and that gives them the stability to address their other problems.
Most of the money for the $8 million project will come from federal grants and low-interest loans to developers. Construction could begin next spring. Week 2 of the nurses' strike against 5 Allina facilities in the Twin Cities, and there are different perceptions on how things stand. Yesterday, Allina Health released a statement expressing optimism that the two sides are actually quite close on talks to reach a new contract agreement. The statement says Allina and the nurses union agree on issues like hiring practices, scheduling, tuition reimbursement, and staff safety. and a movement has been made toward transitioning the nurses to Alina's health insurance plan by 2020. The company also says that 440 union nurses have returned to work. Hillary Clinton is resting today off the campaign trail as critics call her keeping her pneumonia diagnosis a secret and a lie to U.S. voters. This comes after Clinton appeared unsteady on her feet and had to be helped into her car while leaving a September 11th memorial ceremony in New York City yesterday. She's now at home where doctors told her to stay and rest up. Today, the campaign announced that this week she will share additional medical information. She's expected to be back on the campaign trail later this week. Drivers traveling on westbound I-94 in Moorhead will see some overnight lane closures tonight. The closure will be between 8th Street and the Red River Bridge. Westbound traffic will be reduced to a single lane starting at 8 and will run until 5 tomorrow morning. All eastbound traffic will not be affected. The overnight lane closure is necessary to allow crews to connect the new ramp and shoulder to the existing pavement. MnDOT says they expect the eastbound ramp to open before the westbound ramp. They expect the southbound ramp to open in 2 weeks and the southbound lanes on 8th Street to reopen later this week. Also, some traffic changes in Fargo today. One lane is closed on 10th Street between 1st Avenue South and NP Avenue North. This closure will be in place for the rest of today and all of tomorrow. The closure is for utility work along the boulevards. And starting today, University Drive North is reduced to one lane between 1st and NP Avenues North. That closure is for a private building's water service disconnect. The underground work is expected to take 2 days, but the closure will be in place for a week. The city is encouraging you to look for an alternate route during this time. Yesterday marked 15 years since terrorists hijacked 4 passenger planes and crashed them into the World Trade Centers, the Pentagon, and a field in Pennsylvania. Valley News Team's Ashley Bishop has more on that tragic day and what people here in the Valley remember.
It feels like it was yesterday. I was thinking this can't be real.
Ehrenberg was an NDSU college student in 2001 and was sound asleep in the dorms.
My neighbor came pounding on the door and she came flying and she goes, "The Pentagon just got bombed." And I woke up, we turned on the TV, and just as the TV came on, the second plane hit the World Trade Centers.
Nick Jackson was a 15-year-old high school student, unaware that his country was under attack.
And somebody came into the class and said, "Hey, you guys got to turn the TV on," and turned it on, and we kind of watched the second plane hit. And I remember it being just crazy and unreal,
Jackson, along with others, say they remember the disbelief and fear they felt the day following the attack.
It's, all the stories coming in constantly and still having to go day-to-day life. It was just, it was strange.
It was, I would say, an experience of, could this really have happened? And, questioning, what does this mean for our future?
Many people say they remember September 11th like it was yesterday.
Even though it seems so far away, it was still too close to home.
And some local firefighters spent yesterday honoring those whose lives were lost 15 years ago by making a symbolic climb for the annual 9/11 Memorial Stair Climb. Firefighters climbed the equivalent of 110 flights of stairs at the Family Wellness Gym in full gear that weighs up to 30 pounds. That's the number of flights New York City firefighters had to climb in the World Trade Center towers. It's billed as the biggest farm show in the upper Midwest. And tomorrow, bright and early, the gates at Big Iron swing open at the fairgrounds in West Fargo. Today was a day for farm equipment dealers, market analysts, and even crafters as they were all busy preparing for the thousands of people who will visit the 3-day event. Last year, some 70,000 people took in the show. This is the 36th year for Big Iron. It has changed and grown from showing off the latest tractors and combines to opportunities to experience ag-related technology. The show runs from 9 to 5 tomorrow and Wednesday, 9 to 4 on Thursday, and it's free. There's no charge to get in and no charge for parking. We've had a number of you call in today asking about the addition of Fargo's new CW to DirecTV lineup. Hopefully this clears up any questions. Starting today, DirecTV customers can find Fargo's CW at Channel 31. KX4 has moved from Channel 9 to Channel 30. And of course, for those viewers who want to go to bed a little earlier tonight, don't miss our first ever 9 p.m. newscast on the Fargo CW. Christine Stanwood and Robert Hahn will bring you the news and weather that you need to know to wrap up your day. To see all of this information, we have it for you online. Head to valleynewslive.com and click on this story. Cheetos partners with Burger King to bring you a food mashup that just might appeal to your taste buds. That's still ahead tonight.
Cooler, windier, and cloudy today to start our work week. We only reached the 60s across the valley, 50s in the Devil's Lake Basin. Your hour-by-hour forecast shows the cool is here to stay for now. All the details coming up right after this.